about what are the emerging developments minute on minute anymore.
Mm. Okay, so how much news is just too much news for us to bear?
So I think that the optimal or the best thing is to just listen to the news once a day or twice a day, and definitely not do it the first thing in the morning because it sets the tone for the rest of the day. As we've noticed that there's more, how can I say, there's more emphasis on the negative than the positive, and it tends to put people in a negative mind space already. You're thinking, oh my word, the economy is doing so bad because of the domino effect of COVID. You're thinking in a very negative space. And first thing in the morning, you need to start on a foot of positivity. So maybe check it midday if you're usefully, and then in the evening again. It's best for you not to overload yourself with too much of information because, like we said, we're seeing COVID fatigue set in at the moment, and it's causing people to relax when it comes to exercising the necessary precautions.
I know when COVID was still, when we were in the initial lockdown, and we were all there with the numbers, and everybody was social distancing and wearing masks and doing the right thing. And now we don't see it anymore. And also when it started, people were like, 11 people died, and I'm just like, okay, it's 11 people, but still more people have recovered from the virus. So what does all of this news does do to us mentally?
So mentally, you're already seeing people we already had a high rate of depression and anxiety, people who suffer from depression and anxiety, people who are on medication to control, the anxiety and depression. Now you're seeing ordinary individuals, who didn't suffer from it before. It is now induced. People are anxious when they go out. Am I maintaining the right social distance? Did I touch something? Did the children go and play with someone? Did they touch something that I didn't, that I'm not aware of? So we're seeing that anxiety and depression is at an all-time high. And also, we have to be frank about the economic state of the country at the moment. People are losing jobs. There's retrenchments left, right, and center. And mental wellness has now come under the spotlight because we are seeing people saying, if I can't feed my family, what do you want me to feel? What do you want me to do at the
Mm.
moment? Also, something that's very interesting that's emerged is COVID stigma. So this is something that people, don't want to come out and tell people that I am positive or I did test positive or I'm awaiting my results because they're afraid of being victimized and isolated in communities and families. And this is worse, right? Because if you are not aware that somebody that you are working with or somebody who's around you all the time has tested and suspects that they have COVID, you will take it for granted that I'm in a safe space. We share surfaces, we share a lot of things. So we're looking at mental wellness actually causing and becoming a threat, in that sense of people will not want to test because they're afraid of the stigma attached, to even going to test for COVID.
That's so true. And initially, when this whole thing started, many celebrities would come out positively and say, okay, guys, I have COVID, so I'm going to be going in isolation now, but stay safe and keep a social distance, wear your mask, wash your hands, etc. And now, people who are just going out and saying, hey, you know what? Everybody's going to die anyway. So if I'm meant to get COVID, then I will get COVID. What do we say to people with that type of mindset? Because obviously they are aggravating the situation, and who knows, they might be having COVID, but and spreading it to others, yet they have this type of attitude.
Yes, and it's a very, very irresponsible mindset to have that everybody's going to die anyway. Because we drive all the time. You can say everybody's going to die anyway. I can drive how I want. You smoke, and say, you know what, I am going to die anyway. But your quality of life leading up to your death, that is something you don't think of. Yes, we are all going to die. But to the people who say that I am preferring to be ignorant by not wearing my mask, I don't think that this thing even exists. The statistics are there, and we are encouraging people to
Right.
continue with social distancing. sorry about that. I'm saying that what people need to do is not be irresponsible about that kind of mindset because it affects a lot of people. It has been proven that COVID exists. It is a worldwide pandemic. People need to exercise the social distancing, and you can't say that because I'm going to smoke because we're going to die anyway. I'm going to drive how I want to because hey, we're all going to die anyway. You need to think about your loved ones and your quality of life leading up to your death. Remember that the smoking ban and the alcohol ban was instituted because it places people at more risk, of developing COVID-19 complications. So yes, everyone will get it. I can get it, you can get it. But because I am a smoker, my value, or my ability to breathe will be much more hampered than yours, and I will be in need of ventilator, and you wouldn't. So it's just an example that your quality of life and the choices that you make will eventually determine how strong your immunity is to deal with COVID. And that is what people are trying to avoid. We do not have sufficient ventilators in the country. I mean, you're seeing first world countries like the USA who has been saying that, we do not have the right, the right capacity to deal with a problem of this scale. So you need to think, if you do land up in hospital and you need a ventilator, and they have 3 patients there and you are not a priority, you will not get one because there's not enough to go around. And speaking very frankly to us on the street, or the man on the street who refuses to accept that this is a problem, it's not just a flu. It is something, a disease that attacks your lungs, that affects your ability to breathe. And if you cannot breathe and you need a ventilator and there isn't one available, you will die. Not because of any other, but because there's not enough to go around. So it's better in this case. They say prevention is better than cure. Focus on the preventative measures and accept that it is here. It is a part of our lives, and it's going to be a part of our lives until a vaccine is found.
Mhm. And I know a few people who would go around saying that this is a conspiracy theory, etc., and wouldn't care at all about taking precautionary measures until somebody closer to them or somebody whom they know died from COVID. And that's when they decided to now shift their mind and say, okay, this is real and people are actually dying from this. Now, what can we do to shift our mind from focusing so much on the virus and, at least to just relax a little, tone down a little, and although we cannot really enjoy the life that we had before COVID, but how can we just shift our mind and, just be a little bit more positive about our outlook on life?
Okay, so since this is the new normal, adapting is the key. Within your environment, if we are in lockdown, for example, and you're at home and you're working from home, start getting creative about the way you spend your time at home. You can go for a walk. Of course, we are on level 3 now, so you do have, a lot more things have been relaxed. Make sure that you have your mask on, but go for a walk. Have some change of scenery going. If you're a person who used to go to gym, and you can't right now because they aren't open, try other physical activities. There's a lot of things you can do online to substitute for what you used to do. Spending, having movie nights at home, for example. Having video calls with the family, but have it like a Zoom call the way you would a meeting. And have everybody feeling sort of together, but without the danger of having to expose each other to each other. There are a lot of online resources for children, for example. You could spend family time, reintroduce some games. There's a lot of things, but more importantly, mental wellness. Spend time in meditation. If anything, or if there's any lessons that we can take from this, it's that it's time for us to go back to basics and family time and me time. Those are the things that we need to focus on, and minimize the news feeds. And also remember, be conscious in the moment and limit the amount of news that you're getting. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a lot more plagues or news of pandemics coming in from China now, and that has just sort of heightened the fears because we thought we're so
Mm-hmm.
far away, this won't affect us, and look where we are today. So limit the amount of news, and find creative ways to spend your time and family time as well. Get creative about it, but maintaining social distance, washing your hands, and sticking to the prescriptions, from medical experts and the World Health Organization.
All right. Shukran so much for your time, Nazia. I'm going to leave it there for today. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
That was Nazia Muhammad Salaji, a counselor and a life coach, giving us tips on how to stay positive during this coronavirus wave that we have going on. And I know some of you are already tired of listening to COVID news. I am tired as well. It's been far too long. I mean, everywhere we turn, it's COVID-19, coronavirus, pandemic, wash your hands, face masks, this and that. It's everywhere. But unfortunately, while we still have it and while the numbers are set to increase, especially now during the winter months, we have to do the right thing. We need to stay at home if we can, when we can, maintain social distancing when you're out there, wash your face and wash your hands as often as possible, and don't forget to wear your mask. And also be polite. And if the storekeepers or store attendees want to spray your hands with sanitizer, then don't be an irritated person and just not do it. It's not a fight for nothing. Just go ahead and do it because prevention is better than cure. Do stay with us. We will be right back.